Hello everyone. Razorblade Mango here. And it's time, once again, for the annual Cream of the Crop list. As always, I will name my 5 favorite games of the year and list 3 honorable mentions. What's remarkable about this year's main list is that it consists of games I love at the bare minimum. All 5 games are experiences I highly recommend, and it was easy as pie to select the honorees this year. So without further ado, let's dive in. The first honorable mention is Dungeons of Hinterberg from developer Microbird Games, a game I can aptly describe as Persona Light. I must admit that I had no initial interest in this game when it was first announced, and I only checked it out for 2 reasons. A friend of mine recommended it, and it was on Game Pass. But I'm glad I did. It's a short and breezy adventure with a pleasant atmosphere, fun combat, and a heartwarming message about learning to enjoy life. The second game I want to shout out is Botany Manor from Balloon Studios. This was easily the best puzzle game I've played in a while, and I got into it so much that I took physical notes while playing it. It does a great job of making you feel smart and immersed in the role of a brilliant botanist attempting to grow strange and exotic plants. And it's one of those cozy games that has some gameplay depth and variety to it. The final honorable mention is what is easily the biggest surprise of the year, the remake of Silent Hill 2 from Bloober Team. This team remaking one of the all-time great horror classics seemed like a recipe for disaster. But despite some annoyances, and against all odds, I thought they succeeded beyond my wildest expectations. They mostly faithfully translated the thematic depth, crushing atmosphere, and stressful gameplay that made the original game such an iconic piece of video game history. While it doesn't instantly endear me to Bloober Team as a whole, I must give them their flowers for doing such a damn good job with this seemingly impossible task.
Prove to yourself that you have the strength and the courage to be free. Join the Helldivers.
My contempt for PlayStation's desperate and misguided live service strategy has been well documented on this channel. Yet, amidst this parade of failures, there has been one shining exception: Arrowhead's Helldivers 2. From the moment it was revealed in May 2023, I had a gut feeling it would be a fun time and achieve moderate success for both the studio and its publisher. However, even I couldn't have predicted the meteoric rise it would experience, and I also couldn't have predicted how much I would love this game. With its tongue planted firmly in cheek, Helldivers 2 shines with a gleefully sardonic spirit, delivering pitch-perfect humor, excellent physics-driven gameplay, an enormous arsenal of great-feeling weapons and stratagems, and a brutal yet fair challenge. In my 130 plus hours of playtime, I've experienced countless moments I still think about. Last-minute triumphs, laughably embarrassing failures, and absurdly hilarious moments that only this game can provide. It would be higher on the list had it not been for the rough 6 months of bad balancing patches, avoidable PSN requirement controversy, and some frankly nonsensical gameplay changes that have thankfully been reverted. But even after all of that, Helldivers 2 remains one of my favorite games of the year, and one of the greatest multiplayer experiences I've ever had. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is the most emotionally impactful game of the year for me. The continuing tale of Cloud and the gang took me on a deeply personal journey and illuminated parts of my life and of myself that I'm still working on and addressing and improving. For inspiring such dramatic introspection, Rebirth is an important game to me. I highly doubt Square Enix set out to do this on purpose, but that's what great art does. It can evoke thoughts and feelings that go way beyond what the creator originally intended or never considered while making it. Personal stuff aside, Rebirth is still one hell of a great time as a video game. It improves on Remake's already fantastic combat in every way. The graphics, art direction, and animations are wonders to behold, and the characters are extremely endearing. It has its missteps. Some of the minigames are god-awful. The finale gets tripped up by some of Nomura's weaker storytelling tendencies, and it is way too long and bloated for its own good. Yet, despite these issues that would sink other games in my mind, Rebirth's enormous strengths balance out the scales to create a great game overall, and maybe my favorite Square Enix game since Kingdom Hearts 2. Mainline numbered Final Fantasy games and I haven't been on good terms in many years, so it's nice to have games like Remake and Rebirth to remind me of what the creative A-team at Square Enix is still capable of when it comes to one of their flagship franchises. On paper, Balatro is the anti-Razorblade Mango game. It combines two genres antithetical to my taste in video games: roguelike and deck building. Despite that seemingly lethal blend, developer Local Thunk took the two concepts and created the most addictive game I played in 2024. The simple and aesthetically pleasing UI and pixel art allow the deep gameplay to sing without any distractions. And it's clear to me that Local Thunk fine-tuned and thoughtfully considered every facet of the game for a long time. All of it comes together to create a consistently enjoyable and rewarding experience. When I first played Balatro, I was unsure of how much I would get into it, despite all of the praise it was receiving. That was until I played it for 5 hours straight on my Switch one day, and realized that this was something special. After playing it for many more hours over the months, what draws me back to Balatro time and time again are two things: how easy it is to pick up and play, and how enjoyable it is to break the game with stupidly overpowered decks. I hate to use this term because it's thrown around so often by greedy and idiotic executives, but Balatro has truly become a lifestyle game for me. Who needs an exploitative and money-grubbing live service when a work of brilliance like Balatro exists? At this stage of the game, I'm convinced the mad lads at Ryu Ga Gotoku Studio have some kind of Inception-esque device that can delve into the deepest recesses of my imagination and personality to figure out what I would want in a video game. Like a Dragon: Infinite Wealth is the latest game in the long-running franchise that feels tailor-made for my sensibilities, and it's one of the best in the series in my opinion. It injects new life into Like a Dragon by taking Ichiban's crazy-ass adventures to Hawaii and creating a hilarious fish-out-of-water story for the guy. Hearing American tough guys call Ichiban an asshole in English will never stop being funny to me. On top of that, the turn-based combat that I already loved in Yakuza 7 has been given some improvements, such as more fluid animation, more character positioning elements for more strategy, and more team combination attacks that smoothly feed into the game's also fantastic social sim aspect. A Like a Dragon game wouldn't be complete without its extensive and bizarre side experiences. Although I was disappointed with the mostly underwhelming sub-stories that don't take advantage of the new setting as much as I hoped they would, The new Animal Crossing and Pokemon-esque side activities are where you'll find the best side stuff Infinite Wealth has to offer. As is custom for the series, these activities have so much meat on their bones that they could be sold separately for $15 to $20 each. But here they are as part of the complete package. However, my favorite part of Infinite Wealth is Kiryu's story. Despite the dreadful epilogue that taints some of it, watching Kiryu's finale as a protagonist was a bittersweet experience as someone who has grown to love this character and series since Yakuza 0. Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth is further proof that Ryuga Gotoku is one of the best, smartest, and most efficient studios working today. And with Pirate Yakuza, Project Century, and Like a Dragon 9 in the works, I'm sure they will continue to deliver bangers for many more years to come. What else was going to be in the #1 spot? I mean, seriously? Come on now. This sounds extremely hyperbolic, but I feel like Astrobot is one of the games that my entire history as a gamer has been building to. It's a celebration of PlayStation, video games as a whole, and my life as a gamer. I usually loathe this kind of nostalgia exploitation, but Team Asobi's tributes are so earnest, clever, and respectful that I'm mad at any company that chose not to participate. Square Enix! Team Asobi has a clear love of PlayStation's history and its more obscure parts. Hell, I would argue they care more about PlayStation's legacy and celebrating it more than the Muppets running PlayStation itself nowadays. However, even if you were to remove all the PlayStation nostalgia baiting and cameos, Astrobot would still be an incredible platformer. It understands and rewards the thrill of exploration by placing collectibles and fun things to interact with out in the open, in easily missable little spots, and even in areas that seem out of reach but aren't if you know how to use and manipulate the level's physics and mechanics. The levels shine with gameplay variety and thematic inspiration. One level has Astro shrinking down to the size of a mouse to navigate it, another has him slowing down time to explore a treacherous casino. My favorite level has Astro assisting a singing tree while getting rid of birds that are annoying him, while an amazing David Wise-like music number plays throughout the whole thing. Astrobot is also a feast for the eyes and ears. The worlds are vibrant with color, stunning physics effects, amazing details, and little animations you can easily miss. The soundtrack from Kenneth C.M. Young is a masterpiece with new bangers that have been trapped into my mind for months now. This game has the best usage of the DualSense's features ever, and similar to the also brilliant Astro's Playroom, it puts other developers' usage of the DualSense to shame. I could go on and on and on about how much I adore this game. I admittedly get writer's block when writing about one game on the list each year, but this is the first time where I have the opposite problem. I have so much to say about Astrobot that I had a hard time narrowing this down. If you want my much more extended thoughts on the game, I highly recommend checking out the spoiler discussion I did with friend of the channel, Ian Waffles. The link to it will be in the description. To close this out, after finishing the game to 100% 3 times now, I feel confident in saying that I think this is the best game PlayStation has ever made. Yes, better than Bloodborne, The Last of Us, any God of War game, any Uncharted game, and any of Sony Japan's previous endeavors. It is the joy of gaming wrapped up in one unique, colorful, and fun as hell package. Astrobot is without question one of the greatest games I've ever played, and Team Asobi has shot up to become one of my all-time favorite creative teams. They are brilliant. They all deserve raises. Hermen Hulst should be kicked out on his Concord worshipping ass to make room for Asobi studio head Nicolas Duché as the CEO of PlayStation Software. Astrobot is a beautiful and near-perfect North Star of what not only PlayStation should be, but what the video game industry as a whole should be. It has no pretensions about being an artistic medium that it isn't, and feels comfortable in its skin being exactly what it is. A fun video game that exists to make people smile and feel happy.